Hi, welcome to ISE503 Data Management. This is summer of 2024 and I'm your instructor Praveen. And this is the first lecture in Data Management ISE503. This lecture is mostly about the course content. You can call it the course description. And also I'll discuss the course logistics. So let's start with the first important thing, which is about content delivery, meaning that how will I deliver lecture. So it's an online version of the course, and if you're thinking about in-person class, then in-person class, the students and professors, they meet at one place, and that's how it is done. And then in person, the students are supposed to attend every lecture, and there may or may not be any recording of the lecture. But this is an online version where you don't need to be present when I'm delivering the lecture. And that's precisely what I'm doing here. So in online version of lectures, there are two possibilities: online synchronous and online asynchronous. So this course will be taught in online asynchronous mode. So let me explain to you what this asynchronous is going to be. Because of the asynchronous mode, you will be provided the link to the recording of my lectures. So what I'll do, I will record my lectures as I'm doing right now, and then I will upload my video lectures on YouTube, and the link of the recording of the video lectures will be available to you through the Brightspace. So Brightspace we are going to use as the learning management system, or LMS you may call in short. So you should expect a few video lecture recording every day, and once these recordings are available, you will be notified about the lectures availability through the Brightspace, and it will be your responsibility to find time and make sure that you go over those lectures. So there's no fixed time for lectures. These are asynchronous lectures. But yes, I'll discuss the office hours. My office hours are synchronous, which are on Tuesday and Thursday. So you're supposed to join me in my office hours if you have any question related with the course. So let's look at the course material. In the course material, you will be provided lecture slides. So what I'm doing using right now, these lecture slides I will provide to you once I'm done with these lectures. And then as I'm delivering this lecture, it is being recorded. I will post the recording of this lecture, the link of the recording of this lecture on Brightspace. And you will have the homework or the assignment. It's the same thing. The project, all these things will be available on Brightspace. You will have to submit your homework on the Brightspace. And similarly, while you're working on the project deliverables are also to be submitted on Brightspace. Well, here I did not include the information about tests, but let me add that over here. You will have quizzes. I'm planning to give you 2 quizzes, and you will also have tests. And I'm thinking of giving you 2 tests. These tests are going to be your midterm test and a final test. All these tests, which means the midterm final test, as well as the quizzes, they will be online. All right, and I will be using the same platform, which is Brightspace, for your exams as well as quizzes. So that was about the course material. Now I have a separate bullet for video lectures. So video lectures will be uploaded on YouTube, and the link of those YouTube videos would be available to you on the Brightspace. So about myself, the instructor, I'm Praveen. My last name is Tripathi. So here goes the important information about office hours. I'm holding my office hours on Zoom, and I'm pretty sure that I have already made some announcements. So these are some announcements were made on Brightspace. I will double check. So the point is that I will be holding my office hours on Zoom, and these are synchronous. These are going to be on Tuesday and Thursday from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. and this is New York time. If you're busy around my office hours and you think you can't make it, then you should send me an email for an appointment. I will try my best to accommodate you outside my office hours. And here you would find the information about my email. If you want to reach out to me through email, then please use my CS email, which is praveen@cs.stonybrook.edu. I'm also available in my other email, Stony Brook email, which is praveen.tripathi@stonybrook.edu. But I prefer this email, which is praveen@cs.stonybrook.edu. Now let's look at some important information related with the exams. So the test will be online, and for the online exams you need this app, which is the lockdown browser. You will have to install that, and what I will do around the exam time, I will share with you the information regarding the lockdown browser. This is Respondus lockdown browser. You'll have to install that, and with the Respondus lockdown browser, you'll also have to use the Respondus monitor. I will tell you how to use these too, but I believe for you it's not that complicated. You have to simply install Respondus lockdown browser, and at my end I will have the setting in the exam such that the exam will force you to switch on your camera. Okay, so the Respondus monitor thing that you're looking at here relates with the webcam. So you need a webcam for this course, and more so for exams and quizzes. Now, if you have a laptop, then I'm pretty sure that the laptop would come integrated with the webcam. You don't need to worry about it. But in the other case, if you are planning to use a desktop machine, then probably you'll have to figure it out whether you have an inbuilt webcam. If not, then you'll have to get an external webcam. But yes, webcam is must. Okay, so I'll be using Respondus lockdown browser with the monitor for proctoring the exam. Now let's look at the date. These are the tentative dates. So the very first test that you'll have will be the quiz 1 that I have scheduled on June the 6th, that is Thursday, and it will start at 8:45 p.m. and will end at 9:25 p.m. and this time is New York time. Midterm exam is scheduled on 13th of June, that's again a Thursday, and the midterm exam will start at 8:30 p.m. and will end at 10:50 p.m. New York time again. Quiz 2 is scheduled on 20th of June, Thursday, will start at 8:45 p.m., will end at 9:25 p.m. New York time. Your final exam is scheduled on 28th of June, which is a Friday. It will start at 8:30 p.m. and will end at 10:30 p.m. That is again New York time. Your course project, and you'll find that the course project has a lot of weight towards your grade. So finally, you will be required to give us the demonstration of your project. You may call that project demo. And that demo will start from 24th of June and will continue till the 1st of July, which will be the last day of this semester. Now here you will find too much of information, so what I'll be just reading these things because the purpose of this slide is to give you some idea about the course content, and there is a lot. I will just read through these bullets, and wherever needed I will highlight those things. So the course description, what this course ISE503 provides you. Well, after taking this course, you will have the understanding of the issues which are involved in managing database systems, And you need to understand that database is very integral in our day-to-day life. Whatever app you're using, whether it's Amazon, it's Facebook, or any other, say you are driving your car, you're using map, you're using the navigation feature, there also you are interacting with a database. Okay, so the message that I want to give you here is that databases are very very important in our day-to-day life. When you go to store and say even you're getting a coffee from there, say Starbucks, there also you are interacting with a database if you're using a credit card for payment, right? So it's very important. Database systems are there everywhere, I would say. And from this course, you will have some understanding of the issues involved in designing those databases or managing the database system. Okay, so then uh, let's look at the other topics as well. So the students here will learn the enterprise data structure, sorry, data architecture, and this thing will happen in the beginning lectures, maybe the very next lecture that I'll deliver, or discuss the data architecture components, data storage configuration, all those things, and the information retrieval methods. So these are the things that you learn earlier, and yeah, you would learn these things are important. We will spend good time on relational models because relational databases, I believe, are extremely important. Although now people talk about no SQL databases, they are important too. But I believe learning about just NoSQL databases without having a sufficient foundation on relational database is incomplete. So we will start the discussion with relational models, and then we'll move to multidimensional models. We will discuss about object relational techniques or object oriented databases, and then web access data. Now the course includes the concepts, principles, issues, and techniques for managing corporate data resources, techniques for managing and designing, the techniques for managing the design and development of large database systems. Here, we will look into the logical data models. We will look at the concurrent pre-processing, data distribution, data base administration, data warehousing, data cleansing, and data mining. So guys, I should tell you right here that this course description that I have here, I have borrowed this course description from our departmental website where we have this information available. Now since this summer course is going to be very very short, I think just 6 weeks, so I'll try my best to include most of the topics that I have over here. That's the reason I am putting stars over here. It is possible that I might skip some topics, but I'll try my best to keep the most important topics that I believe should be taught in ISE 503. Now, if you want more clarification about it, please feel free. You can send me an email or you can join me in my office hours. Now, the students will use the current methods and tools for database design and development. So these things will happen in your project for sure, and possibly in your homework also. So as I'm planning right now, I'll give you the homework based on relational databases. So you may end up using MySQL. That's what I'll recommend, but you are free to use any other relational database that you find more convenient. So these things that we have, like MySQL, I consider as the current, database tool for relational databases. Now, this course is limited to CSE and ISE graduate students. And here I think we should add the DS as well, which is a new major, stands for data science major. And I believe the students who are taking this course in this semester are mostly data science students, right? So this is ISE 503 is limited to CSC major, ISC major, and data science major. Graduate students. So these graduate students, this is the second time I'm teaching this course. I taught this course in fall of 2023, and there in my class I did have some PhD students as well. Probably a couple of those were PhD students, and remaining students were master students. So yeah, otherwise if any student who's not in this major and wants to take this course with me, then the student would need the permission from me, the instructor. So what are the outcomes? There were too many topics on the previous slides, right? So you may like to know, okay, fine, what would be the outcome after successfully completing this course? What can I demonstrate? Okay, so you should, or the student should demonstrate the ability to design a database management application through the design part. And for design part, I will encourage you to use ER diagrams. And here, if the students are interested in using more advanced tools like UML class diagrams for design, I'll be fine with that. But yes, they should reach out to me and they should inform me that yes, in place of ER diagram, you want to use the UML class diagram. We will discuss about these things in the lecture. So, after the successful completion of this course, you will have the ability to design the database management application using these ER diagram or UML class diagram. And once the design is done, so ER diagrams you'll be using for designing your application. And the design is not enough, although design is very important, because if your design is faulty, then your ultimate project or ultimate implementation will be faulty. Okay, so design is very important, but after the design you need to implement that. So the implementation will be done in SQL. Okay, so these two things you are expected to learn. And we will be spending good time learning SQL, structured query language, an extremely important skill to have if you are dreaming of your career in data science. Okay, SQL is an extremely powerful and very useful, um, very popular as well, and highly desirable skill in a data scientist. And we will spend good time learning about SQL statements. You will also have the ability to design and implement database system through a project. So the project, I think I did not provide you the breakdown, but it's 35%. Your project will account for 35% of your grade. And one interesting thing about the project is that you can do your project in team. Okay, so that will be a fun activity. And in the project, you are expected to demonstrate all the skills that you have learned during the lectures or during the semester through my lectures. And I will cover some topics on NoSQL databases that will happen towards the end of the semester. So you will have the understanding of the extended relational and NoSQL databases as well. I'll try my best to cover these topics of data warehousing and analytics. And if I do that, then yeah, you will have the understanding of these concepts as well. So let's look at some other course related information. So the message here is that Brightspace is going to be extremely important. So make sure that you are reading every notification that you're getting from Brightspace related with this course, because I'll be using Brightspace for posting syllabus, which I have already done. And I also created Piazza. And I hope that you might have received an email from Piazza, and we will use Piazza for the discussion as a discussion forum. So yeah, all those information will come through Brightspace. The syllabus has been posted there. You can get my office hours information, which is available on the syllabus. You will be able to find out about my email address, email information, and all that from syllabus there, which is posted in Brightspace. The assignments and the lectures will be posted on Brightspace. The class notes means the lecture slides. They will be also available on Brightspace. So yeah, a lot of stuff will be available on Brightspace. So guys, please pay attention on your Brightspace notification and make it a practice to go on the Brightspace and check if you miss anything important. Now let's look into the textbook. The textbook that I'm using is the Principles of Database Management, the Practical Guide to Storing, Managing, and Analyzing Big and Small Data. And this is by Cambridge University Press. And these are the three authors. Now, you might be wondering that why was this book picked as the textbook? So let me answer that. First of all, this book is very recent. Okay, very much up to date I found, and I love the presentation as well. So a lot of lecture contents you will find from this textbook. Okay, and one interesting thing is that if you search for it on Google, you might be able to land on the web page of this textbook, right? And on this web page you might find some interesting resources, so much so that you may find the recorded lecture delivered by these authors of this book. So if you want, you can watch those videos as well. So one more time, why did I pick this textbook? Because I found this more recent, more updated information about databases. But I would also recommend you to look at these reference books. So if you have those, great. If you don't have these books, that's fine too. So the same applies for the textbook also. Ideal is if you could get this textbook. If not, not a problem. I will make sure that most of the important topics of the course are covered in my lecture. So what I'm trying to say is that my lecture slides would be enough. But I would always encourage you to get an access to this book, the textbook. So the different books are Fundamentals of Database System, 7th edition by R.L. Masri and S.B. Nawathe. It's a very standard book on databases and has been used as textbook in a lot of high ranked universities. We have another book in the reference category. This is Database Systems, an application oriented approach, introductory version. And this book is by our own Professor Michael Kiefer, is a professor from our CS department. Okay, so this whole slide was about the books related with this course. Now you might be wondering about the grades. So no surprise here, you will get all the grades which are possible in the Stony Brook grading system. When I'm saying you will get all the grades, I should be careful, right? So what I'm trying to say is that these are the possibilities. If you do exceptionally well, you are in the top, you deserve an A, right? And somewhere on the top you may get A minus, right? You may get B plus, B minus, so on and so forth, right? So no surprises here. You'll get the same grades as we have in the grading system at Stony Brook University. If you do well, you'll get very good grade. Now question arises, what would be the basis of grading? So the grading is based on your performance in exams. And exams, I mentioned that in exams we have two exams, one midterm exam and one final exam. And then we have quizzes. There are going to be two quizzes. And I will schedule the quizzes in such a way that one quiz before the midterm exam, the second quiz after the midterm exam, and then you'll have the final exam. You will have assignments and you'll have one course project. And the grading will be available on the Brightspace. So as an example, if you appeared in quiz 1, and let's assume that the quiz 1 was on Friday. I'm just coming up with an example, right? Let's assume that the quiz 1 is scheduled on Friday of the next week. So you will appear in the quiz, and for exams and quizzes there is a fixed time. These are not asynchronous. All right, my office hours and exams are synchronous. You have to be present at that time when the test is available, because if you can't make it to the exams, you will miss that. Exams means the quizzes as well as the midterm and final exam. So if you appeared in the quiz, say, which I'm saying, let's assume it is the next week Friday, then after that you will be graded in couple of weeks, and your grade will be available on Brightspace with some comments from the grader. The comments, like if you say you scored 18 out of 20, right, in your quiz 1, then yeah, you would need the explanation like why did I lose -2. So we will leave that feedback for you. Like you missed 2 points here on this specific question. We were expecting this as the correct answer. Your answer is incorrect. And the grade distribution would be very similar to a college overall grade distribution. So you should not expect any surprise here. Now this is important. Let me give you the criteria for grading. You may call that grade cutoff. So for A, if you're scoring 95 and above, then you will get an A. A minus will be the next category, and for A minus, your grade should be either 90 or higher than 90, but less than 95. Similarly, for B plus, we have the range including 87 till 90, not including 90. And similarly, you have the grade, the cutoff for other grades as well. So please refer to these things if you want clarity on the grades cutoff. This information is also available on the syllabus that I have posted on Brightspace. And now you would need to understand the rationale or the fundamental behind it, like how come we came up with this interesting cutoff range. So the reasoning behind this is that if your total percentage in the class is above the class average, then you are guaranteed to receive the letter grade C or higher. So what we have done, or what the university has done in this case for this cutoff, is that we consider that 73 should be the numerical grade for the grade C. Okay, so let me read it, then it will probably make more sense, and if required, I will explain. Now, at the end of the semester, after all the points from the exams means midterm test, quizzes and final test, your homework assignments, uh, we don't have any recitation, so let me cross that off. Once we have all the grades, right, then on those using these grades and a formula, I think I did not explain to you the formula. I'll show you very soon. In that formula, you have the weight for different course components. So at the end of the semester, when all the points from your exams, homework assignments, and project is missing here. Let me add that here. Project is available for all the students. We will compare, or I will compare, the class average with the cutoff. Okay, so let's assume that the class average was 78. So since the class average is 78, which is higher than 73, so I will use this cutoff. Even if the class average is 73, I will use this cutoff, grades cutoff. Now only if, so I have all these things, so let me not explain these things. Rather, I should read these bullets, because these bullets are self-explanatory. If the class average is above 73, then I use the grade cutoffs above. What is that cutoff? Over here again. So that will happen if the class average is above 73. Now, if the class average is below 73, right, let's assume that the exams were difficult, the students could not score much, and because of which the average of the grade that the students received towards the end, when we have all the graded components, is 70, less than 73, right? So in that case, what we will do, I will deduct the difference between the fixed cutoff and the class average from all the cutoffs. So what does it mean? Well, 73 is what we wanted as the average, 73 or higher, but the student's average is less than 73, which is 70. So the difference is 3 over here. So what we will do, we will modify this cutoff by subtracting 3 from all these numbers. Okay, what would be the result? The result would be something like this. A will now be in the range from 90 to 200, and accordingly we will adjust the cutoffs for A minus, B plus, B, so on and so forth. So if you look at this cutoff range and this cutoff range, you will find that it has the difference of 3 minus 3. Why 3? Because the class average is lower than 73. Okay, so this is the kind of curve that the students often ask, do you curve the score? Yeah, that is what we do towards the end of the semester. So individually, I'm not going to curve your quiz 1, quiz 2, midterm exam, final exam. No, only when I have all the grades available for your quizzes, for your midterm exam, your final exam, your homework, your project, then I'll compute the class average, and on that basis I will determine like what should be the cutoff that I need to use. Now here is the formula thing that I was mentioning to you. Your final grade will be based on the formula, and the formula here has the weights for different components. So your midterm exam will account for 20% of your grade. Your final test will account for 25% of your grade. And the project, as I mentioned, is the most important component, which has the highest weight. Project is for 35%. Your quizzes are going to be 10%. So two quizzes, you can have that as 5 plus 5. And homeworks together, our total homeworks is 10%. Now here again, you can think, right? If I have two homeworks, then it will be 5 plus 5. But I'll think about that, and more information about homework would be available soon. Now for assignments and project, no late submission is accepted, right? So here we have a very strict policy. Therefore, please don't miss the homework. Submit those homeworks on time. All right, let's look at the quiz. Quizzes are going to be simpler than your midterm exam and the final exam. And quizzes questions would be very simple, directly taken from the lecture material. All right, so if you're preparing for the quiz, then make sure that you have properly gone over the lecture contents. Some questions you may find directly taken from the lecture content, whereas some other questions may have minor modification or slight change to the stuff that was taught in the class, but it will be still based on the concepts taught in the lectures. Now your final grade is based on your total weighted score in all graded components, and the higher is your score, the higher would be your letter grade. Assignments. Submit the assignments on Brightspace. The assignment must be done, guys. This is extremely important. Okay, assignments must be done individually, and a group work is not accepted. Well, if you are working in group, then the news is even worse. Any work which is supposed to be done individually should be done individually. Otherwise, if we found that there was some kind of collaboration, then we will have to report it to the academic dishonesty branch, and yeah, that will be a bad news. Therefore, I would request you to do your work honestly, do it individually, because the assignments are the individual assignments. Assignments will be graded, and you will get the feedback. All these things will happen on the Brightspace. You must submit the assignments on time, because if you don't submit on time, then yeah, you'll get a 0 on that. Now, the assignments are important because using the assignments, you will be able to, check your skills. So, as an example, if the assignment is on SQL, right? If I say, okay, fine, use the SQL statements to create the database, tables, write queries, create, define primary keys, foreign keys, and all those things. So that the assignments will give you the opportunity to learn the practical skills. And that practical skills that you're learning in the assignment problem can be asked in the exams as well, right? So please do your own work and do it honestly, because we will be evaluating you in the exams as well. Like, did you do that honestly yourself or not? Now, here, as I was mentioning to you, very important, make sure that you understand what academic integrity is all about. And for that, I won't say much. I will direct you to this university web page. Please go over that and make sure that you know the rules and regulations about academic integrity. And what I would say about academic integrity is over here, which is that all your work should be your own, with some exceptions. Uh, if you're collaborating, then that collaboration should be approved by instructor. So the assignment or the project should say that you are allowed to collaborate. Like, in the project you can collaborate because the project is going to be a team project. So there also, the maximum team size is 3 members. So as long as you are collaborating with 3 team members, you are fine. The very moment you reach to more than 3 people, you are in trouble. So collaboration you should do only when that is approved. Like in the project, you can collaborate with your teammates. But if the assignment says that it is individual assignment, it should be done individually. Now you should cite references to the information that you're using in your course project, like the data. All right. So as an example, let me use the movie database. All right. Let's say one of the team in the class is working on movie database. All right. And they would need the information about movies. So IMDb is a very popular website that has information about movies. So that team may get the data from IMDb. And yeah, IMDb will have a lot of data. Now, if you are using the data from IMDb in your project, then you must cite. There will be a reference section. For that, you should reach out to me. I will help you out in your documentation of your project. So in your project documentation, you should have a reference section towards the end of your report. In the reference section, you should say that the source of the data is IMDb. Okay. The project, let's look at project also a little bit. So the project is a major, there will be a major project in the course, and the project will cover most of the important concepts that will be covered in this course. And in the project, you would have to design the project. Okay, so these 35 points that I have, I may break that down into 15 plus 10 plus 10. So this 15 points that you have here, I will give for the design. I want to see how well have you designed your database. Okay, and for design we will learn about the skills, right? So for design, we not skill, I should say the tools. We'll learn about the tools that are used in designing database. So the tools are going to be ER model, very popular in databases, or UML class diagram. You can either use ER diagram or the UML class diagram to design your database. And in your project, 15 points are on the design. So it's very important. You should not have any bugs in your design. If your design has bugs, you are losing some points from these 15 points. Okay. Then 15 points on design. Well, I can give you 10 points on implementation, and then remaining 10 points for demo and presentation. Okay. So yeah, back to this point here. Project, you'll have to design a database and develop an implementation in MySQL. So MySQL is what I would recommend, but here also you have freedom. You need to reach out to me like what do you plan to use in place of MySQL. So what I want, you should be using a relational database management system for your project. Okay. Now the project should have decent complexity, right? So the question arises, how are you going to evaluate the complexity of the project? So my rule is very simple. I would count how many entities do you have in your design, right? So the design will have some entities in there if you're using ER model. Okay, so I'll check how many entities do you have and what are these entities. We will learn about those things later. Okay, for the timing, I can give you a very high level, simple, definition of an entity. So I would say entity is an object in the database domain that has independent existence. So if you're designing a database on movies, then here the on that movies database system that you will be designing, you'll have to identify important objects that will have independent existence. Now here I should be careful, right? And we can argue what do we mean by independent. So I am not going to independent and dependence right now. I'm only telling you about what an entity would look like. So in a movies database, the movie is going to be one entity. The actor is going to be another entity. The producer is probably one more. The director is another one. Studio could be another entity, right? So when you're working on your project, when you're doing its design, I will count like how many entities do you have. If your excuse me project is overly simplistic, you will struggle in finding even 5 entities. All right, so your database should have, or your project should have 5 to 10 entities in there, and you will have the final project demo. I will be sharing with you more detailed information about project, and that detailed information about the project should be available during the middle of the semester. Not right now, but yes, you should have some idea about the fact that yes, there is a course project which is team project, and yeah, it is the most important component because it will account for 35% of your grade. And in the project, we would need your database to have sufficient or large amount of data. Because if you don't have sufficient data, probably you won't be able to try the interesting queries on over there. Now the project will be presented by a team. You will be given approximately 20 minutes per team. And in the demo, you should use the PowerPoint presentation, which you will use to organize your talk or your presentation. And then we will ask you to give us the demo, right? So and you should show how you should show that your project is in fact working and is not crashing to the demonstration. So your oral presentation, so your project demo should be similar to an oral exam. Now for project steps, as I mentioned that it will be, the details will be available about the mid semester. Then you would be required to form a group. Now when I'm talking about group, I should make it clear that you can work individually as well. So since it is an online course, I'm not sure how many of you know each other, but since you are taking this course, I would encourage you to reach out to each other, make friends, and then yeah, at least in the project you'll have the opportunity to work in a group, right? But if you are a person who wants to work individually, that is fine too. Okay, so your team could be with just one member, that is all right. Okay, so maximum three, a minimum could be one, so you can work on your project individually as well. So in the project deliverable, I will ask you people to come up with the statement of your project, like what your database project is going to be all about. Now, I did not mention this thing, but let me give you some hint here. For your project, there are two possibilities. One possibility is that I will tell you that you have to build your project on this topic. Okay, so I'll tell you what your project topic should be. All right, excuse me, that is one possibility. The other possibility is that I may ask you people to come up with your own project idea. All right, so these things that I have here make sense too. The second possibility, when I will give you the freedom to pick your own project topic. If you're picking your own project topic, then you will have to come up with a statement of your database project. In the project statement, that should be probably 1 page long, a couple of paragraphs. You will write what your project is all about, right? As an example, I have been using movie thing, right? You may say, okay, fine, my project will have the data about movies, and I'll have the and in my database I will have the information about movies, actors, directors, producers, studios, the ratings, right? So all those things you will mention in that project statement. And that statement should not be technical. So all those information I will be sharing around the mid semester. And for the project, you will have to create the design. 15%, I mentioned, right? 15% of your grade is based on design only. And for design, you can use ER modeling or UML. And once you have designed it, once your ER diagram is ready, then you should move ahead and do its implementation. And the implementation means creating your database. Creating your database means declaring a lot of tables. All right, so after the design, you will have to implement your database. You'll have to create a lot of tables. And once the tables are ready, you will have to I think I missed that, or maybe it is in some other slide. Yeah, it is over here. Sorry about that. You have to create the corresponding table and will have to populate the table. Populate the table means you'll have to put the data in your tables that you create. After that, you'll have to write the SQL queries and all those things. Fine. So, well, I believe I discussed enough on project in the very first lecture. Probably I'm missing some very important points. If those points are bothering you, don't hesitate. Shoot me an email or join me in my office hours. We'll have a chat. Okay, so now about lectures. Lecture slides will be available on Brightspace. So you should review the lecture slides before you appear in the exams or quizzes. And the lecture slides may also help you in your project also, right? In the design, you can refer to the lecture slides, like when you'll be taught about ER diagrams, then you know this, the different notations or different, what I should say, structures that we use in the ER diagram, and similarly, what kind of blocks do we use in UML class diagram, all those things. So yeah, lecture slides will be important for all the course components, including projects and assignments. Now for assignment and exams, no late submission is permitted, right? So no excuse, please finish your assignment on time. And if you're not submitting on time, then the penalty is worse, 0. All assignments should be submitted electronically on Brightspace. Please read the instructions carefully. With every assignment, you will be provided the instructions about the deadlines, about the way you should be submitting your assignment. and they are all to be submitted electronically on Brightspace. Now for homework and exams, you'll have to meet the TA or the instructor for the regrading. So I will check if I have a TA available, then I will share the TA's information with you. So for regrading instructions, you need to reach out to me. And after the grades are posted, you will have 1 week from the day the grades are posted to request for the regrading. You have 1 week from the day grades are posted or mailed or announced for regrading requests. Okay. If you're not happy with your grades, you can always come back to us and can request for regrade or the explanation of your grade. And but for that also we have the time window. It should be done within 1 week of the day when the grades are posted. Now here you have these topics, right? I don't want to read every topic, but I would suggest you to have a look at it. From this, you will get some idea about the important topics that will be covered. And as I have mentioned that it's going to be a very short semester, 6 weeks, I'll try to squeeze as much as content I could, right? So yeah. Now, if you need some support, then we have this disability support services available in Stony Brook. You have the link, the information provided over here. Okay, so if you need any accommodation during the exams or the accommodation in your assignment or the project, then you need to reach out to the disability support service. So let me quickly read these things. If you have a physical, psychological, medical, or learning disability that may impact your coursework, please contact the Disability Support Service, which is located in Stony Brook, Union Suite 107, and here's their phone number. And it is normal. In every semester, I have few students with the support, and yeah, everything works fine. So this is very smooth. You need to reach out to these people. Now, the people at Disability Support Services, they will determine with you what accommodations, if any, are necessary and appropriate, and they often reach out to me. Okay, we are in touch, usually myself, the students who need the accommodation, as well as the DSS, disability support system. We are in touch regarding these accommodations. So if you're planning to take an exam in DSS office, so I'm not sure whether this will apply here because this course is being offered online, but you can always check, right? You need to tell me beforehand about the exam. So what can happen here in the online version is that suppose a student needs extra time, right? So this kind of requests have come to me earlier, and almost in every semester I get this kind of accommodation. So what I'll do, the tests which are going to be online, if there is a student who needs extra time and that extra time has been uh, you know um, approved by DSS, then in my exam that I'll have, I'll make the adjustment in such a way that the student who needs the accommodation will get the extra time. Okay, so here I will request you to first reach out to DSS if you need this support, and also keep me informed about it, just to make sure that I don't miss this important information in the exams or maybe for assignments. Now, all documentation of disability is confidential, so you don't need to worry about it. Academic integrity, one more time, right? What you can do and what you cannot. You can discuss general assignment concepts with other students. Like you can discuss how an ER diagram is drawn, right? And what is the multiplicity, cardinality, right? Type of relationships and all that, attribute types, these things. So the high level concepts you can discuss with the other students, and explaining how to use the systems or the tools, helping others. So you can help each other at the high level design issues. So you can also help each other in installing, say, the MySQL, okay, or any other tool that you're using to design ER diagram. So at the tool level, the help is welcome, okay. But you should be careful. You are not allowed, or you may not share the assignments, source code, or other answers by copying, retyping, looking at, or supplying the files. So if you're doing something like this, then yeah, that will be considered academic dishonesty, and the consequences are going to be severe. So assignments are subject to manual and automatic similarity checking. So we do check, and our tools for doing that are much better than any cheater might think of. So please do your own work. And if you cheat, then what will happen? You will be brought up to on academic dishonesty charges, and we will follow the university policy. And the university policy you can find here in the link below. Now things happen, right? So we need to plan for catastrophic events, right? Somebody these things happen. If you're ill or something extremely unpleasant happens in the family, right, then you need to keep me informed about it. You need to come up with a future plan. Say if you're sick on the day of the exam, then what's your plan? If you are sick, you must go and see the doctor. All right, because if you are sick and you cannot make it to the exam on that day, then probably I'll have to schedule a makeup exam for you. But for makeup exam also I would need a proof. Okay, so our department has very strict policy. The makeup exams are only given to those students who will provide the document, right? So you should be very careful about it. If you are sick, go to the the health service that we have in our campus. You must see a doctor, because the doctor will have to give a letter that you were sick on that day when you were supposed to appear in the exam, right? So I came up with one example. If you have to travel for some reason, right, very extreme reason, then yeah, you should have some proof that yeah, I had to travel. So can you give me the makeup exam? So that I'll consider in this bullet, which says formulate a plan so that you can get back on track. If you missed exam, you should have planned for appearing in the makeup exam. So the advice to you would be, you should not be late. Once you start running late, it's very hard to catch up. All right, so that was it. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Bye bye and take care. I'll see you in the next lecture.